Oh, wait a minute. There was a 30-second countdown before, but I forgot how to turn that on. So I guess we're going to skip it. So let's just go ahead and jump right into my Instagram page, which is ClubRico Podcast. We're going to start off with this post about a hero, Dr. Joseph Ladapo. Now, a lot of people might not remember him, so what I'll do is I'll remind you. He is currently the Surgeon General of the great state of Florida, hired on by Ron DeSantis, which was an incredible move. Now, the way I know Dr. Joseph Ladapo, he was actually a doctor at, I believe it was UCLA Hospital in California when the lockdown started. He was on a panel of frontline doctors of America who had came out and were immediately trying to save people by telling them there are other alternative treatments besides this injection that's going to be coming out soon. And that's when they were talking about the Ivor and the HCQ. And there was, let's see here, who was there? I don't know if you guys remember Dr. Stella Emanuel, the African doctor who had treated hundreds of people who fully recovered. Mind you, the thing that they said that you would need to recover from had a 99.96 survival rate to begin with. But she was treating them with these two drugs that have been around for years and getting the results. They call her a witch doctor. They called her a kook, called her all kind of names. Also, there was another doctor, Dr. Simone Gold, also a hero. Now, all these doctors were shamed. They were fired. They went through a lot of ridicule. And then at the end of the day, they were vindicated and proven right. Look at where Dr. Joseph Ladapo is today, saving the lives of families, men, women, and children in the great state of Florida as we speak. But what he's doing now, though, is why you're going to see a lot of distractions in the media. You're going to see a lot of more calls for civil war. And, there's these shows that are coming out right now about civil war and about blackouts. Now, mind you, Klaus Schwab warned us that he was going to enact something called the cyber polygon and hit us with that anyway. The reason that they're making these movies on Netflix is because I don't necessarily think that they can do what they said they could do. So what the backup plan is for that is just doing what they did in the Ukraine, which is use the media to gas people up into doing something ridiculous that they shouldn't do in the first place and actually harming themselves, again, like they did in the Ukraine. So, but stories like that give me hope. And when I'm watching everybody's freaking out about this new Civil War movie and these new movie trailers, Obama made one, it's all just to keep you in a state of panic, anxiety, to keep you afraid. My thing is, if they could really do it, right now would be the time to do it. I mean, we're a year away from the new election. They don't have tons of time to figure this out. If they can't do it by now, then they likely can't do it. And that's where a lot of my personal anxiety came from, which things that I was worried about, because I know these people are desperate. They're not going to go to jail. They're not going to just give up and lay down, because if they don't win, then yeah, they will go to prison. I mean, these are the same people who have publicly come out for the first time in all of history and announced that, yes, I am attracted to children. They call them MAPS. Yes, I support racism, calling for genocide of one particular group over the other. And there's all these different things that are happening. Everybody's being exposed because they don't feel like there's any consequences right now. But if you know who wins the presidency and comes back into office, and if law and order is ever restored, which I'm on the fence if it even can be right now. Do you know what type of retribution is on the table? Do you know how hard and how fast us conservatives are going to try to reverse course? We are going to be, even Trump said on day one, we're full steam ahead back to the year 2019. Dictator for a day, closing the border, and drill, baby, drill. You know, these climate people with their nonsense. Everywhere on earth, you still got people discovering new places to pull oil out of the ground, and that's never going away. Even my electric cars run on gas. You think that where do you think electricity even comes from? It's not coming from a solar panel farm in the middle of the desert and turbines and underwater. That's all make-believe and nonsense. No. Actually, they come from they run off of coal, and they run off of gas, and they run off of turbines, and that's how your electricity is generated. And those turbines, you can usually power them with nuclear fuel, coal, oil, the same things that you're going to need to put into your car so it can run gas. It's no different. It's a scam as well. But, if you want to virtual signal and pretend that you're some kind of great, righteous person, good for you. But you're lying to yourself. And now that this information comes out, other people are not going to be as willing to accept your lies. So let's ease on down this page. Tom Jones. Approximately 40 years ago today, a man named Tom Jones wrote a song called She's a Lady, despite the fact that he's not a biologist. How did he know? It's crazy how much, you would think people in the past would have less information, they have less technology and the internet. It's kind of like all this technology is making us dumber. And it's like we're literally following the path of the stories of the Atlanteans, where we're going to have a breakaway society that's going to wipe themselves out, and the rest of us are just going to go back to farming. On my trips lately for work, I got to drive to Austin, Texas, and I pass all this open land, and it's like it's calling me, just to live on a farm and work. And just, one day we won't have all this electricity. We won't have all, because in my opinion, something's got to happen. It might not be for years like they want, but at least temporarily, power has to go out for 2 or 3 weeks. For you to snap into reality and realize that everything that you have now is a luxury that can be taken away. Too much luxury is why, being too spoiled is why so many people took those Trump years for granted. And now they wish they could have them back. The WHO, the World Health Organization. Let's see what it says, shall we? If you are pregnant with child, make sure you get a vacation against the boogeyman. It's recommended in every pregnancy. Revacation against the boogeyman is recommended in every pregnancy. You know what's funny? Look at the picture of the cartoon character they used to promote this. When I told you 2 years ago that there was a coordinated campaign to wipe out one particular group, some people thought I was crazy. But I've proven that time and time again that a certain group was targeted. And at the end of the day, Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, if any of them are listening, bravo. See, so that you don't seem too evil, you can't just say that you have one goal in mind. You have to actually say, well, I have one evil goal, but we have other goals too. Really, you have one main objective. And everything else around it is just kind of just to mask and cover it over. The main goal was to get rid of people that looked like this. Right here. That was the goal. And if you are keeping score like I am on my page or on the Safe and Effective podcast page, that is happening every single day. You know how many friends and relatives I've lost back in the city of Los Angeles or in California in general, or who are having major medical issues right now in California? And you might come to me and say, but Rico, why California? Why not everywhere? See, that's the kicker. Everywhere did not allow themselves to be compromised and taken over by whether it's the World Economic Forum, whether it's China. Obviously, California did. Look who just visited, Xi Jinping. In certain states, they were given permission to try out their weather technology. You know, I keep score. California has had the same weather patterns and the same amount of sunshine in the past 12 months as London. It's been dark and dreary pretty much the entire year. I don't even know if you guys remember all the flooding in the first 5 months of 2023 in California. Matter of fact, we had our first tropical storm in California. What does that tell you? That they've been using storm cloud seeding technology to keep the skies covered. You know what's funny? Remember in the movie The Matrix? What did he say the machine's first thing they did? Well, he said, well, we don't know if we did it or they did it, but we blocked out the sun. That was one of the first things they said that happened in The Matrix. According to my calculations, what was in the that they gave everybody in 2021, whatever was in number 2 reacts to LED light. So for you to be under LED light all the time, you would need to be in somewhere dark. Natural sunlight cures the damage done to the human body of the number 1 that people took. See, what number 1 did was it turned off your body's immune system so that your body would not attack that thing that was in number 2. And as long as there was no sunshine, that thing would grow. But see, even though Greg Abbott and DeSantis, both governors, which is basically essentially the president of our states, because I live California, because I saw this coming a mile away. They're not perfect, and they've made mistakes. I mean, they're making a big one with this whole Israel nonsense. But they did not say yes to the campaign to block out the sun, but California did. So if you look at where the highest amounts of mortality has been since the 2021 campaign, you're going to look at places like Australia. See, for Australia, their summer is our winter and vice versa. When it was dark there, devastated. The UK, ravaged. London, ravaged. But you don't hear about them. I share a lot of it. And there are pages. There's a movie on Rumble, Died Suddenly. There's an Instagram page with the same namesake. You should follow it. All of you. Just because no one's talking about it in the noon doesn't mean it ain't happening. Just because Anderson Cooper isn't saying what I'm saying to you doesn't mean that it's not going on right now. All your favorite Black celebrities, all your favorite comedians and actors, if they're still alive, not for much longer. If you look at the rates, it's 93% men. Obviously, whatever this is, it's testosterone reactive. And then you got to look at men and break down out of all races or, phylums of human men, which men have the highest natural T levels, testosterone levels, versus which ones have the least amount. And if you look at who's on the bottom, those demographics, they're not dying. Not from the 2021. They can survive it. It's because they're more estrogen than testosterone, even though they're males. But the athletes, the fighters, the aggressive ones, the ones in society, the ones that it seems like have been being targeted for years now, oh man, they're dropping like flies. I mean, actually, I watched a little bit of that new Wakanda movie, and they're telling you in that movie, there's no more dark men. That tall, dark, and handsome thing, it's a wrap. But it is curious though. There hasn't been enough NBA and NFL players to fall. Damon Hamlin, and there's a lot in college, but the ones on the court, there should have been more by now, because there's more in the public, and if they all took it, so maybe their doctors did not comply. Maybe they were some of the lucky ones. There's a lot of people that believe in God, and there was a lot of fraud. Because, we don't even know what the overlap was either. AstraZeneca and these other companies, how did they divide up territory? Like, who got where? Because you can go to 3 different places in one city, and they'll all have different ones. So, but how did you determine which company got which area, and what demographics are in each area, and how were they divided up? See, everybody's so worried about these BS distractions. They're not asking the right questions. And there are questions to be asked. I'm going to ask them, but let's keep going. My grandfather is suffering from after getting 3 in 2021. He got the shingles and the diabetes. He was healthy. And I was a doctor for 52 years. He never took them because he knew the risk. But the media scared him during the scamdemic. Well, unfortunately for your grandfather, there's no excuses. See, for you to say yes and go along with this agenda meant, in a way, you were an elitist. The people that actually went out there and took it, when they did polls, those people said that people who don't take it should be put in camps, shouldn't receive medical treatment if they go to a hospital. They literally just wanted to see us burn. They didn't care. So I really don't. So the fact that the shoe's on the other foot, literally, I have no sympathy. As a man, you could have chosen to say no. How dare you call yourself a man and you let another man, not even in person, another man on fucking TV tell you what you're going to do with your body, and you say yes sir because of XYZ reason? And not one of those reasons was there was a barrel of a gun in your face, down your throat, and there was no boot in your ass or on your neck. So my sympathy flies like a bird in the wind, just flies away. Sorry, Grandpa. Trust me, I lost family too. I had to literally cut them off so I wouldn't feel sorry for them. Alex Jones is back on Twitter. People are pissed. But porn allowed in elementary schools, people are okay with. And when I say people, I don't mean everyone. I just meant that the people who are the most vocal, which tend to be people on the left, because they don't have a life. They don't have children. They abort them. They don't have jobs because they're activists. So they have a lot of time to scream and yell and protest and make a big scene. But when you have a family and children and you have a business and you work, you really don't have a lot of time to stand up and protest and go do that stuff. So looking at this meme, it just shows you that, a lot of people's priorities are in the wrong place. And how is there so much damn porn on Twitter too? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple things I've seen I wasn't looking for, but where am I? I wasn't I wasn't planning on seeing. Bro, Twitter is hilarious. Musk is, I'm not a fan of Musk. I feel like every day that he lies to people about space, I feel like he's evil. But then he does do some good things. But why keep lying? What? What the? Wait, literally, wow, listen. While we're live right now, using my page, Instagram literally suspends my account. And all I do is really just reshare memes. I don't go live on there anymore. I don't really talk to people or engage very often. Your account is not visible to people on Instagram right now, and you cannot use it. What can you do? You have 180 days left to appeal our decision. We may need to collect some. I went through this already. What the freak? Appeal. This is crazy. What? No way. I literally went through this already. Wow. You see how fast things happen? Look how fast it happens. Just, I don't know if it's the social media gods or whoever, but I'm literally using my answer. I'm just reading from it. I make the post, and then my show is based off of it. Why I'm so censored, I don't get it, because if I'm wrong, then I'll just say I'm wrong. But apparently, it's more than that. Why do they? Let me play their little game. Let me see what their code is. They send me a code. No code. Yes, request a new code. You can't get another code with limited number of time. Please check back in 30 seconds. Wow. And I had some good juicy stuff on my page too. Like, unbelievable. Well, the good thing is I have a backup page. So I really update mobile. No, I use that. They haven't sent me a confirmation. Well, this is hilarious. Literally stopped the entire show because I literally got banned while on air. This is madness. Bodman. Let's see here. Request new. Okay. Request new code. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. There we go. 4. Okay. The hell? Okay. Now they're making me upload a selfie and make a video of myself. It's crazy. They want everybody's face They want everybody's biometrics on file. Thank you for your submission. It usually takes us a day to review all your information. Wow. Guess we're not using that page anymore. Man, do I gotta? Oh yeah, we can go to safe and effective. Password was incorrect. How about now? Score. We're in there. So, this is my other page, the Safe and Effective Podcast. And you know what? And for this, and the purposes of this show, basically, I used to call it, it's a Klaus Schwab podcast. Anything about Klaus Schwab or the World Economic Forum, I usually post here as a backup. So this is the backup page for the ClubRico. So let me see here. How do I go to my wall on this page? Don't know. Notifications. Okay. So that's true though. This is the movie everybody's talking about. Let me know if you can hear it. How do I adjust the volume? The Obama's new movie says you can't trust white people. When I told you they were building up a coalition of black people, of gay and trans people, and now they're mixing them in with Middle Eastern people to create a coalition only to go against one group, which is white conservative Americans, which, being a conservative and a patriot, I also would fall under that group as well. And they're building a coalition. And I told people that a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I said, there's a brilliant person who I follow on here all the time, amazing guy, Blanchard. And he is Blanchard. And I remember when him and I first met on his live, he asked me, like, so what do you think is going on? And I said, and I have this live too from like almost about 3 years ago. I said it looks like from my calculations, it looks like they're building it's like they're using the media to build an army. I call it the Black Army, BLAQ, Army. And it's basically a combination of people from the BLM, the extremists, the ones who are extremely racist, the ones that hate all white people, but they still live in the country and they function, but really deep, dark sentiments. The same kind of sentiments that they pretend that white people have, where everyone's a Klans person. I've never seen a Klansman, but I've seen a lot of Bloods and Crips kill a lot of black people. So I've never seen a Klan person kill somebody, but I've seen a lot of gang banging. So, one of them I just can't take seriously. I can't take it seriously. And from my calculations, like they're building up a coalition just to go against white people. And at first I was like, blacks and gays alone, they're not necessarily, they don't have the strength or the numbers to create a civil conflict. And it's a suicide mission for them. Anyway, if the blacks and gays try to go against, conservative, prepped white Americans, even though white Americans are losing their children to the Black Army, where their children are actually, joining the ranks of the side and being against white people, but they're white themselves. It's crazy how susceptible white people are, unfortunately, to being shamed, how easily you can shame them into submission by just calling them a few names. Like, it's crazy to me. I mean, yeah, this is going to be a hard, when this is over, if we make it, no one's going to give a fuck about what anyone else says about them or what names you call them. Because in the real world, none of that matters. If the shit hits the fan tomorrow, all your fancy little names and your little words and all that slick shit, it's not going to matter. What's going to matter is who has resources, who has supplies, who has knowledge, and who's prepared to fight physically. That's all that's going to matter. And, all the other, all that, the division, all these, I'm this person, I'm trans, I'm this, I'm that, none of that's going to matter. Hey, are you a man? Can you fight? And what can you do? If you can't do anything, you're done. Do you got physical strength? Are you healthy? What's going to really matter if stuff hits the fan? Are you prepared at all? Because how many days do you think the grocery store is going to last if the power goes out? That's all they got to do. And you got to think about it. People are talking about, oh, Rico, what about an EMP? And they want me to talk about it. Why would I talk about that? There are hundreds of thousands of EMPs that they've built in the past 3 years all around us, and you did nothing to try to stop them. You're so spoiled and so used to living in good times. When you saw them building those towers and all over the country and these different neighborhoods, every time a tower got built, you didn't notice your phone, your internet speed didn't go no faster. So you let these people build these massive, monstrous electronic devices all around you, and you're such a grasshopper instead of an ant that you didn't even question, what do those towers do, I wonder? What are they for? For all you know, there's an AI in China, and every single tower here is basically like a limb on the AI. And the AI is like a living being. And these are all part of its body parts. And now you've just connected the continental United States to an AI somewhere. And every one of those towers is multi-purpose. But one purpose it could have is each one of those towers could send out an EMP pulse every 12 hours. And indefinitely, they can be knocking out power systems around you, and you'll have no idea what's going on. Because those towers have their own power base at the base. They have their own power room. They're not on the city grid. The city loses powers. Those towers stay on. Why? We have millions of miles of fiber optic cable running through the oceans underground. Those towers would be redundant. Would you were going to phase out the Ethernet and all the other, the other cables no. Those towers have another purpose. You turn those on, we got an EMP. We already have those around us everywhere. Eventually it's going to happen. The problem is, this is America. Eventually somebody like myself will figure it out and we'll start dismantling them, but it's going to take months. Eventually we'll recover. Then we're going to try to figure out, well, who did it? And we're going to want revenge. It's the American way. So that's not necessarily a long-term option. But if people aren't paying attention, who knows? What if it goes on for longer than that? We don't know. The Obama new movie says you can't trust white people. The World Economic Forum, even though they're made up of white people, they look at the American types of white people as the enemy, because the American white people are armed and they will fight for this country. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in the country. Immigrants, Black Americans, LGBT, for the most part, they all hate America. They hate the Constitution. They hate the skin that they're in. They hate themselves. They're not patriotic. They shouldn't be here, and they should not be allowed to make decisions for a country that they hate. Obviously, you're going to make decisions that go against the country. Look at who they said their vote actually decided the race of 2020, and now look at where our country is because of them. If we do make it through this, we're going to still allow them to vote. No, there's going to have to be some kind of cleansing. They're going to have to reshape how we do things. You know, they used to say that you couldn't vote if you weren't a landowner. Now they're saying you can vote even if you're not a citizen. See how far we went in the other direction? So now you got to choose. Which extreme would you prefer? I'd prefer the extreme where, unless you're a landowner, you don't vote. Because now you're going to have to pick extremes. You're going to have to pick an extreme now. We went from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other in a very short period of time. But that's why we have each other, so we can try to figure this out. That's all it's about. It's figuring things out. Let's see here. Now, how do I get to my wall? Is it right here? There we go. I used to love this guy on shows, but he is an actor. He is a part of Hollywood. He is from Black Hollywood, and you know what and we all know what was required to keep those nice studio jobs in Hollywood after 2020. We know what you did last summer, my friend. That's a young age, 61. That's young. After a brief illness, I bet it was real brief. I bet no more than 2 years. Andre Braugher. Never knew his name, but he was a good actor. Oh, more evidence of what I was saying. Boston mayor excludes whites from holiday party. And what does this mayor look like? And look at who is happy to have an ally that looks like her. But when you say an ally, who are you guys aligning against? I know where this is going. Do you? You know, no one's even going to see this live for a long time. I have 0 following. This is a new page. I mean, but for historical records, you can always come back here. Well, we're just talking about LAPD's first non-citizen police officers set to graduate from the academy. Does anybody have any thoughts on this? You know what? I got to figure out, how do I do comments? Yeah, I got to start reading through these comments. Can't post comments to some destinations. Let's see here. Hello. There we go. So, you know, a person who's a non-citizen, when it comes time to harm natural Americans who are from here, they're not going to hesitate. They resent us. They resent you. And this is all being set up for a reason. But California is one of those places that's gone. California, Los Angeles is effectively gone. It's not there anymore. The place that I grew up is no longer there. And what's replaced it is something else. School shootings by race. I thought this was interesting. I wonder who makes up this army I was talking about, the BLAQ. Interesting. And if you look at the media, they're running cover for any time somebody does anything wrong, if you're from those demographics, because the media wants you to do their dirty work for them. So they want you on their side. But they're going to send you on suicide missions. It's the same thing that happened in Ukraine, except they're going to do it here. And I'm like, am I the only one who can see this clear as day, what's about to happen or what's going on? No one sees the correlation between the Black Army of America and the Ukrainians. The Black Army of America versus white Americans. the Ukrainians versus Orthodox conservative Russians. Actual strong men, not women, men and women face. This no. Actual adult men. And no one else sees this. They don't see the pattern. I do. I see the pattern. I'll point it out to you every day until you can see it too. U.S. life expectancy data proves experts are literally killing us. So the experts, with all their useless wisdom and advice of what to eat, how to be, how to live, all the drugs they want you to pump into your body, and all these weird, unnatural things they want you to do, apparently it's having the opposite effect. You know, I remember how many times I had to tell people that health comes from diet and exercise. It doesn't come from a needle or a diaper on your face. I can't believe I had to tell so many goddamn adults that. You know, I don't know. And we will have guests and stuff on. We'll just bring on people to have a conversation. But this is why I have a backup page. Look, so I can come down on a lot of the same material. And this happened, like I said, this happened the other day on that same channel, my ClubRico Podcast. Now, you're currently unable to be monetized. No shit. But so you can't miss what you never had. I was never monetized in the first place, so I can't take something away from me that I never had and use it against me. I prefer not to be monetized. I don't think there should be money in politics. I think money is going to corrupt anything. So there shouldn't be any money in politics, and there definitely, I mean, people to say anything for money or to protect their money. I guess if you're looking to have a fight where you want to have longevity, it's a smart thing to do, is to protect the money part, but I don't know. It just seems like police are looking for anti-vax conspiracy theorists. They're looking for you. But who are these police? What are their leanings? How do I get this to play sound? On my other page, it was playing sound. And now, this one, everything seems to be muted for some reason. Or is it that did I change the microphone? The microphone's changed, but that has nothing to do with. Oh, I know what it is. Mumble. No, it's not Mumble actually. Okay. Yeah, I got to play around with this a little bit more. But I wanted you to hear what this crackpot lady had to say. Good old Pierce. One man I would love to sit down and have a conversation with one day. Who else has had the latest strain of the boogeyman? I'm into day 7 of an incessant cough. That's how you know he's British. He uses words like incessant, incessant, snotty nose, raging sinuses, asthma-like breathing, not breathing, breathing. Very white voice, tedious fatigue. Would you love to hear it on an 8-day thing? Truly yours, Pierce. The guy's such a fucking clown. He'll say anything because he's paid to say anything. He doesn't really have a choice. He's in too deep. And wow, that vacation sure did work good for you, Big Pierce. Destroyed remember what we said out of those two, what number 1 does. And then Pierce is in a very, very dark place. For one thing, he's in the UK. For 2, he's indoors in the studio all day with an LED light in his face. That thing in number 2, it reacts to LED lights. That's why they outlawed all these other lights. Even saying that on YouTube, I'll probably wake up tomorrow with a strike. Hopefully I'm being vague enough. Remember, YouTube gods, everything I'm saying is satire. This is comedy. This is a joke. I'm not serious. Okay. No one needs sunshine. That's for comic books. Okay. That's just Superman. Okay. Obviously, we're not Superman. It's okay. So don't ban my channel. It's just a jokey joke. Who would have thought living in America you would have to censor? Ah. I like this meme. It's raining and it's a banker. And then there's you or your mom and dad, whoever was wearing a mask that that's them. And it's crazy. Everyone I know who was talking about who were really big on wearing masks and stuff, they all magically believe in climate change. Like it's crazy how much they believe in it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, let me just focus more on save. Why does it keep changing? All right, I'm gonna just leave it. Let me just fill this. Go ahead and just. There we go. Just give me a little sliver. That's good enough for me. I want the focus to be on the content of what's on my page. So, well, life expectancy in Canada fell for the third time in a row, for the third year in a row. How is it that with all of our modern technology, where everyone's talking about immortality, stem cells, all this research, uploading your consciousness, 3D printing organs, all this stuff that everybody's talking about, all these magical medicines and injections that the Canadians really did comply with because they didn't really have a choice. See, in America, we got this thing called the Second Amendment. So, yeah, I do what the fuck I want to do. And if you don't like it, we can just bang it out with each other. In Canada, however, they don't have that option, and they're very compliant, nice people too. A lot of Canadians, they don't got that spirit of 1776 in them like we do. So, but let's look at it. Life expectancy in Canada fell for the third time in a row. What's happening? I don't know. I know one thing though. If you're this seems like a Canadian mess. So who do you call when your house has a mess? You call the maids. Oh, what do you say? Maids is number one. Number one cause. What is it? Number two cause of death now in Canada is maids. MAID stands for medical assistance in dying suicide. They will help you commit suicide. And you would tell Trudeau, thank you. Imagine thinking that you live in a first world country of democracy that loves you and yada, yada, yada. And when you go to your doctor and says, hey, you know what? I think I need to get that surgery. And the doctor tells you, how about you just kill yourself? With all of our problems in the States, at least right now, we don't have that one. And the reason we don't have that one is because of the two-way also, because most of us wish you would say something to us that crazy to our face. Doctor. Hilarious. It's all a joke, right? It's all a joke. But all this stuff really popped up after Trump. So I guess that was the dam breaking. I guess Trump was the dam. And removing him removed the dam. And now the world has been flooded. Or at least the Western world. Why you should skip the flu shot. I'm not gonna give medical advice. You can skip, hop, whatever you want to do. Some of you just like drugs. You're just drug addicts. So if you want to just, do all that experimental stuff, go for it. It's, congratulations. Well, this is a sad one. If you look at this picture, that's a big, strong man. And remember, those are testosterone reactive. So if you're taking synthetic tea so that you can exercise and work out to get big, and you take that thing, then you're going to suffer the same fate as those bodybuilders who seem to be making up a lot of the men who are being deleted from the playing field. Poor fella. But hey, if you're a guy and you're so and you're going to just let other men tell you what to do and you're going to do it, well, now if you do what they say and you're not around no more, then that just means that those same people that tricked you into doing it can now go date your wife or date your girlfriend. Think about it. They want to get rid of men. And there's nothing going to be just women here, and I guess a select few men who are going to be in charge of doing all the repopulation. I mean, I'll be honest. If you're a globalist, use a slick. I can see where this is going. I can't really be. I'm not going to hate on you, even though Schwab, this guy right here, he is a cross-dresser, and he's also a part of the LGBTQP community. Even he wants men gone, but it seems like his issues are with strong white men. So let's see here. Klaus Schwab is how old? How old is Klaus Schwab? 85. He was born in 1938. So he was born before World War II even began. Huh. Wait, what year was it that Hitler was elected? Was that 35? 36? So he's from, and he's Austrian, so he's from, yeah. Let's see here. Where was he? I know about him. His parents were from Switzerland, and they moved to Germany during the Third Reich for his father to assume the role of the director of the Urscher Wyss AG, an industrial company and contractor for the Nazi regime. Schwab's family was closely monitored by the Gestapo, which in 1944 also interrogated his mother, who was from Switzerland. See, in Switzerland, they also speak German. I speak German. I lived in Europe, and interesting. So Schwab is 85. So let's see here. When would Schwab have been 30? Or let's say, when was Schwab 20? 20-year-old Schwab, gay, cross-dresser, living in a country post-World War II that was not necessarily friendly to people like him. Men with his desires were frowned upon. If you remember, what are the first two laws that Hitler enacted, it was to ban clubs where Klaus Schwab would frequent, and to stop and to not allow interest rates to be charged to Germans. So if you look at it, when a man like Klaus Schwab, he would have been 20 in 1958. What type of world did we live in 58? Was it very welcoming to that community? Or was it more religious? See, he's one of the people that run the world now, and actually the world is being remade in his image. They want your kids to be gay. Everything that you thought was wrong and bad, now they're making good and legal. He's having his revenge. The men that would have sent Klaus Schwab into the closet would have been strong white men who work for the police or work for the government, who were, in charge of things. Those are the people. And if you look at who's on the chopping block in the Western world right now, especially in America, the descendants of those exact same straight white men. Because, throughout history, it's been straight white men who have maintained constant law and order. Well, there goes Schwab right there. How much longer do we have before he passes away? He's only 85. You know what? Soros is 94 right now, so that could be 9 years. But I think Klaus Schwab is on his way out physically. So they're going to push to try to get as much done as they can before he passes away, because eventually everyone's going to find out that all of his promises of immortality and all this technology and all this blah, blah, it's all lies just to get you to go along with his agenda for you to depopulate and wipe out your own people. Hilarious. Okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop right here. We're going to stop at Klaus Schwab on this post. We'll come back, circle back like Jen Psaki, and then I want to see how I have a new mic. I want to see how the sound came out. And then I'll make the adjustments. I'm going to post it, and then we'll come back. All right. Thanks for tuning in, or if you watched it, either or both. Okay.